Well, I think this will work, Amy. Okay, I believe we're live. Good Friday morning, right? John Howe with the Raptor Resource Project here. We are all happy to be here for After the Fledge 2021. And I'm going to show you the bright-eyed Eagle fans that we've got here this morning. So we're hi Mom. Was that Mom Decora or your mom? Both of them, right? All right. And we'll talk more about that, but Mom Decora and DM2 and the Osprey have been here already this morning. So we're going to do a little virtual tour here of the hatchery. It's a really great place to be, and just going to kind of ramble on here and tell you what we're seeing and talk to some people as we go around. And I think we're going to end up talking to Brian and get some more information about what's going on at the hatchery here too. So, all right, so let's get going. You guys are welcome to follow along if you want to hear it in person or just go about and do your thing. So I'm just going to take a tour around the hatchery. All right, so I guess first place that want to show here is our memorial bench to Bob Anderson. Bob Anderson and Neil Rettig, with the precursor of American Eagle, started this whole education journey that we've had here, and that was back in 2007. So just honoring Bob, and this is the bench that's here with could be Mom Decora or Dad. Well, both of them there. So we got an eagle. Just beautiful bench here. We're at the visitor center, and I'm just gonna pull out here and give you a little shot of it, sheltering all of our crew here. And actually one of our cameras with a red-winged blackbird up there to say good morning is up on top. That's our pavilion cam, and that gives us nice views of the bluff over here, which it's a little bit bright with the sun here, and it's kind of hazy this morning with a little bit of moisture in the air, but that cam gives us great views of the eagles when they're on the bluff, and also on the new maple tree that we can't see on the other side right now. And then over towards the hatchery, we've got some pine trees there where Mom was sitting before, and she'll sit up there and she'll watch for fish opportunities in the raceways over at the hatchery. We'll take a look at those in a little bit, and she'll also watch. Oh, there she goes. She's got a blackbird chasing after her. I'm not sure if you can see her, but we'll see if she flies over this way. I think she just landed in the maple tree, so we can hear her. We can hear her a little bit, but well, maybe we'll walk over this way first so you guys can get a chance to possibly see Mom. So it's hard to see in the foreground here, we've got the overflow retention pond. This is a fish hatchery, and the spring water from Sewer Springs is really what kind of made this the choice spot to raise fish. We got cool, fresh spring water, and that water is used to raise rainbow trout. Here's the overflow retention pond we were talking about. And this fish can be flushed through the raceways into this retention pond, and there's quite a bit of fish that live in here. So this is also one of the spots that historically Mom and Dad Decora and DM2 have been fishing out of, and typically they'll do that over in the corner. You can see cars lined up from the attendees that are here, and I think everyone everyone is basically here because Mom Decora flew over. So we're gonna see if we can get a view of Mom Decora carefully. We don't want to scare her away. That's the neat thing about the eagles here, is that they are used to humans. So we get a view of the current maple tree here, and I'm going to move around a little bit here, but we'll see, and maybe we can zoom the camera in a little bit.
Yeah, I have to get on this a little farther down.
Right. If you want to try to zoom it in a little bit. So our cam operator, Dave, you have to point it at the front of the camera. It's line of sight. You got to be from the front.
Okay.
There you go. Let's see if we can see her. It's kind of hard to see her, but she is right on the end of that branch there.
Gotta go left, I think. No?
She's right up there. Go ahead and zoom it in.
Oh, it's hard to see.
Yeah, it's hard to see her with the lighting.
Yeah.
That's okay. This is not the best camera to see Mom, but anyway. So we have our folks here, you can zoom out, Dave, that are getting their shots of Mom Decora while she is looking for opportunities to fish. So you can zoom it back out. Okay. So we'll keep going here, but feel free to sit here and watch and take pictures of Mom Decora, everyone, while we go and take a tour of the hatchery. So your choice. So we're going to keep moving here.
If you've watched any of the food drops at Decora North, I mean, you've seen just
So again, as I was mentioning, the water clarity is pretty hazy right now. We just had some pretty intense rainstorms earlier this week, and that will affect the clarity of the water, the ability of the eagles to see fish underwater. Sometimes they're floating and dead and they can pick them out of this overflow pond, but Mom is looking over at the raceways. So we're going to take a loop around and look at the creek and the spring, and then we will go see if we can meet up with Mr. Brian. So you'll see along here, along most of the areas of the hatchery, we can see, it's hard to tell with the camera here, but native wildflowers are planted all along here. It is really kind of a haven for birds, smaller birds. We've got flower gardens. We've got some birds sitting on the posts over here. In the winter months, we usually have a lot of Canadian geese that come in here, and that's because the water is not frozen. So we're looking over here at the pine trees in the foreground here, and that's, like I said, one of the prime points where Mom Decora and DM2, and when the young were here, they're not in this area this year because of the the young are over at N3 this year. So we've got a little bike rack here, and the Friends of the Fish, well, actually one of our work programs that after the fledge one year was to fix up and paint the eagle's nest here. We got the iron eagles and the eaglets.
I didn't know this had to be pointed right at the front.
It looks fine. And there's our bike rack right there. That's okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we're gonna go over and take a look at the fish area here. So what we're coming up to is Sewer Spring, and this feeds water to the fish hatchery, as I mentioned. We can see the birds eating bird seed right from the flowers. Way off in the background we see somebody fishing for trout. Hopefully they're having some luck. But a neat shot here just looking at the life cycle of the trout. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get that in here. All right, so we'll take a look at the spring over here. We're going to head over to the spring next, and this is going to be pretty busy with fishermen, fisherwomen, fisher everybody, basically. And right now I think that this has been my problem. My issue is whenever I've come down here to fish, there's been a really intense rainstorm and the water clarity goes down, and the fishing success is not near as good when the water clarity is cloudy, so, or the water is up at that high. So that has been the problem that I've had every time I've been down here ready to fish. So that's the case here today, and that might be why we don't see a lot of fisher. Well, I've seen one person here fishing today, and I'm not sure that if they've had any success, but let's take a look through here. We've got beautiful wildflowers, echinacea, photographer flower.
A woodchuck? Is that a
Woodchuck, okay.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it looks like it. So this is the spring where people fish, and it's stocked, and then there's also native trout in here, the brown trout. The Trees Forever and the Friends of the Decorah Fish Hatchery do a lot of projects here to help restore some of the native plants and obviously the fish. Brook trout are here, rainbow trout, brown trout, white sucker, sculpin, and creek chub, although the fish hatchery is producing what kind of trout? Rainbow trout? Rainbow trout.
Are they brown trout also? Or are they
There are native brown trout in the creeks and streams here in Iowa. So here's a neat spot here. You can see the water rushing through. People will fish off of the bridge. People will fish off of this nice little concrete spot here. And see, the problem here is right now is that it's hard to see if there's any fish there. We will get a chance to see some trout though, I believe, when we go over to the hatchery and take a look at in the raceway. So let's go up and take a look at the actual spring that comes through, and I'm told that this spring is the second largest spring in Iowa, in northeast Iowa. So let's go quick take a look at that. This water is cool also. If you guys have rainbow trout. I had a feeling if I put the camera down, they might be tricked into thinking that this might be feeding time. to see this many trout at one time is a pretty amazing thing. All right, we got Mom. She's coming by to say hi. She just flew behind the trees.
There she is. There she is.
There she goes. She's got a blackbird chasing her.
Yeah.
And there she goes to land. That's what you get to see when you come here to the Decorah Fish Hatchery. So let's look at a few more of these. You can see the swirls. They're splashing the camera lens here. Is that, yeah, you can spread it with your hand. Just grab some in your hand and throw it out there. Alright, so they will see that, and you can see them diving and grabbing the food. Kind of like the water will boil. Go ahead and throw a little bit more in there.
Is this the only fish hatchery in the state?
No, there's multiple fish hatcheries in Iowa. Look at that.
Look at them. Oh my gosh.
Pretty neat. You can see the rainbow colors and the spots on them. All right. Well, let's keep going over here.
Scared me.
Well, good morning.
Morning, John.
Hello, Brian. I'm doing just fine. Let's get this way here, so a little bit better lighting. So tell us a little bit about what you've been seeing around here.
Well, obviously one of the adults is sitting in the tree right now.
Yeah. So Mom Decorah's here.
Yeah. For about 3 weeks before the fledge, they pretty much stayed closer to the nest. But since the fledge, it seems like they're spending 5 to 6 hours at least per day here. Both, the male and the female are doing that. So,
yeah.
And today the people got to see the osprey decided to flex its muscles and attack.
Osprey like fish too, right?
Yeah, but they were attacking the female sitting in the pine tree. They've either sat in the pine tree or in the maple tree or in the pine tree right by the office.
Okay.
For the shop.
Right above where Brian is, those pine trees back there. That's where Mom was earlier. And I got reports that both Mom and DM2 were sitting on the maple tree earlier.
Yep. Oh, so, today?
Yeah, this morning.
He's been here more and more. I don't know if he's just following her or what, but you can usually tell if it's him or her. If there's only one in there, if he's nervous if you stop underneath him and stuff.
Right.
Where she just ignores you. So you can tell the two just by that.
Right.
But he, throughout the nesting cycle, he would sit here too, but not as much as she would. He would stay more on the fringe of the hatchery.
Okay.
And stuff.
That's neat.
I have a question about the fish.
Question about the fish we have here?
I don't know any answers for that.
Okay, I was wondering, do they put them here as eggs or do they come as small fish
That's a good question. We're actually a rearing facility. So the trout program in Iowa is not big enough that we maintain multiple rootstocks and we maintain multiple places to incubate eggs. So our Manchester Fish Hatchery, which is about 2 hours south of us, they spawn the fish or incubate the eggs, and then they transfer the fish to us at about 3 inches. And then it takes us it's a total of 18 months to go from egg to catchable sized trout. So the catchable sized trout's 10.5 to 11 inches.
What did you say, 18 months?
Mm-hmm. So like these fish in this raceway are about 4 inches right now. They'll be used next June. And they were spawned in September of 2020. So everything we do is actually a year and a half in advance. So like any of the 10.5 to 11 inch fish that you see on the hatchery right now are that the eagles are eating, by November they'll all be gone. So like what I tell everybody, to be honest, 2021 is irrelevant for us as production because we already have our fish ready, and we're gearing up to get ready for 2022. So in this raceway there's 8,000 fish. In this raceway there's 30,000 fish because they're fingerlings, they take less space. And so as these continue to grow, we'll continue to divide them and spread them out. So by October, November, all our raceways will be full again, but they'll all be full of little fish.
Where's the bigger fish at?
Manchester Hatchery has the bluefish. Our big fish are in the center pond, and the biggest one in there is probably 7.5, 8 pounds. Every year we cull about 900 fish out of our broodstock population. We divide them amongst the three trout hatcheries, and so we stock 1 to 2 of those fish out per stream per week to allow anglers a chance to catch ropey sized fish.
Is that the place where Mom and DM2 eat out of that?
Yeah. That's a frequently asked question. Is well, that's the one they take. Okay, how much does Mom weigh? 9 to 11 pounds.
Yeah.
So can you picture picking up a 7-pound fish and flying it 2.5 miles? No. That's what they often, way back, they used to say they took a cat. Again, what's even a farm cat weigh compared to their weight? They have tried to pick them up when we've had them die and put them in the pond. You know, they flush into the pond, and they just can't pick them up. So what they do is they sit in that tree just like you see. What she's doing is she's waiting for Steve to feed her. So right now they're walking around, they're venting all the dead fish. Because we have dirty water, we can't feed. But they're netting all the dirty fish and flushing down the silver pipe, which they know in about 20 minutes they'll come out the pond behind her, and she'll swoop down and take them. They're smart enough to know if we take the net off the feed trailer, they're going to get fed. I mean, because you watch their whole dispositions when they watch us come out and we're feeding. If they see us pick the net up, their attention span definitely got more acute. So, you know, I tell everybody, eagles, you guys all give eagles better credit than they deserve. They're a turkey vulture, very pretty. But that being said, they're not stupid by no means. I mean, I'm a firm believer they recognize the 3 of us that work here. To be honest, I mean, you guys all say, did you see what they did on the camera, or did you see this? None of us watch it. But we see them every day. I mean, we see them for real. Your guys' world is this, we're this.
Right.
And so, but they recognize us, and just like that, we know between which ones do. And she will actually start, the last couple of years, she started that, she'll start.
We can hear Mom. Yeah.
And believe it or not, she does. She will, when it's just us, she'll start chirping like, feed me.
She doesn't try to come in and fish off of here. She waits.
Out of the raceways? No. Their wingspan's, say, 6.5 feet. This is, you know, normally we used to have baffles in every keyway, so that was an 8-foot square. So they fly down, and, you know, that's too big. They're a jet. They're not a fighter jet. They're a jumbo jet. So they'll take fish out of the pond. But this year she started doing something different this spring that we watched. Is she would land on the concrete, duck under the wires, and walk in and get a fish, and then come back out. She's never been the original male was much more efficient at catching fish. She's never, since she's been here since 2008, she's never been quite as efficient. But she's never usually walked in. Juveniles, we watch juveniles do it. Over the years that most people don't understand, we've actually saved several juveniles because they've jumped in the raceways and can't get out. And so they get hypothermic. Because our water right now is running about This year's, it's actually a lot warmer than in years past, but it's about 57 degrees. So within 5 to 10 minutes, they can be hypothermic. So Robin actually, Brom has pictures of one, and she helped me and the weight training guy for Upper Iowa University fish one out, and I just made sure she didn't post to me the pictures because knowing the eagle people would go crazy to see that.
What are you talking about, Brian?
Yeah, but she actually was hypothermic. But that eagle, friend, we actually fished that juvenile out 5 different times. And then she figured out how to get out, so then she would just jump in and get a fish and then jump back out. But it took her 5 times to figure it out.
I think a couple years ago I was out here and there was a tank and it said lunkers. Is that right?
What's that?
It said lunkers, like.
Yeah, can you show us some of those bigger fish?
Yeah, you just gotta walk
Let's
down
do
there.
that quick, and then we're just about out of time here, so we'll take a look at some of the larger trout here. I can see the larger fins right here. Brian's going to show us where the biggest ones are, so I better.
If you guys want to know, like we just put out all these educational panels this year, and if you read them, it'll tell you a lot about trout and what we go through.
And Mom is up in the maple tree as we're walking down here. She sees Brian, right, and she recognizes him even though he's in a crowd.
Believe it or not, they do. When I worked in Idaho, we had a pair that wintered at the hatchery. And a friend of mine was a wildlife photographer, and he tried to get pictures of them. And we could walk within 10, 12 feet of them. And they wouldn't let him walk up to them. And so we even put him in our uniforms, because we all wore the same uniforms. So, like, these fish will be stocked out in November.
I think we're getting closer to the big ones.
Yeah, we'll see if we can see them. The ponds always stay the dirtiest.
And they'll come to food here, right?
Yeah.
You got a little bit of food left? Okay. We're going to see if we can see some of the bigger ones.
There's right now there's about 350
one right
of them left in here. So, you'll want to hook. Go just a little bit farther out. Yeah, nope, they don't want to. There's about 350 fish that are in here that are anywhere from about 2.5 to 7 pounds. One question, you can see that one.
Right there.
One question a lot of people always ask, because they eat, the pond over there is the one that they take the fish from behind you, that they always ask us, what's in our food and is, anything gonna hurt them? These fish are a food fish for humans, so we can't put any chemicals or any additives that aren't approved by the FDA. So it's the same thing for, basically the eagles. There's no chemicals in the fish or in the food that would affect the eagles. But early on, when they first started, everybody started watching them on the internet, that was a big concern for everybody. There's something in these, it's not organic or whatever, and there's something in our food that would hurt them.
We got one hungry trout here.
You see how black it is? That shows you that it's in a stress mode, and it's in it's in mud because of the rain we got a couple days ago. So
Does it lighten up when it
If-
comes out of stress?
yeah, if the water was clear, they would be they're very colored up.
All right. Well, hey, we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks so much, Brian.
Betcha.
Thanks for the tour. We'll be back and we'll do one more of these, I believe, at noon, right? No?
No, we're doing 2 of them 3.
Okay, that's right. Next stop here is going to be N3. So we're gonna wrap things up here and we'll head over to the new nest that Mom and DM2 used, and where D37, 38, and 39 fledged, and maybe we'll get some views of them here later today. We'll see. We'll see if I get the light settings on this camera a little bit better. I can see that things are kind of bright and washed out. So we'll play around with that for a little bit, and we'll see you around 9 o'clock.
And if you guys want a real tour, I can give you a real tour tomorrow if you want, or later today, whatever.
That sounds great.
Our home, brand